Sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, November the 29th, 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete and Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hi, everybody.
Don't all sense of feel. Let's see. You got sports suck. I like that one. That's good. And can we talk about the NBA and glory holes? Yes.
I think that was from last show. So I think I need to change that.
You might need to change that.
Yeah.
Maybe the NHL and glory holes.
Just
there
glory holes. Yeah.
Like the 5 hole.
You just get rid of the sports stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so how are you fine gents on this fine late November evening?
You know.
I'm nonplussed. I know this is a sports podcast, but honestly, I think my note says it all. All sports just suck.
Yeah, they do suck.
They're doing nothing to get any better. They're just getting worse.
It's because you guys are trapped in New York.
No, I don't mean the teams. I mean the sports themselves.
Sports themselves. Yeah, I have to agree, and that leads me to my first thing. But before I get there,
college football has not been this good in 40 years.
I know. That's true. That's true. We'll talk about it. I got to ask you one thing to start the show, though. How were both of your Thanksgivings last week?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was okay.
All right. Fair enough.
My wife's brother-in-law got COVID, so we did not have the big family get-together because we always get together at their house.
Right.
Even better.
So it was just the four of us. My wife had a couple sides that she made. We had some chicken because we didn't have a turkey. Mm-hmm. It's like the day before we were debating. Oh, because he felt fine. He wasn't sick. He's, COVID is mild now. So he was like, yeah, come on over. But we didn't really want to risk it. And both my mother and father-in-law are closing in on the century mark.
Yep.
In the next decade or so, I think. So we decided rather than A, risking them, exposing them, or B, all the rest of us going there, and them having to stay home, we decided everybody just kind of stayed home. So it was a very nuclear Thanksgiving with some chicken and most of the other sides. It was good.
Gotcha. Good.
The food was good, and it was nice and quiet. I mean, normally it's like 30 people.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to
be
have
a little more
quiet day and, watch some football with the boys for 8 minutes while we had dinner. Nice. And then everyone scatters to the wind.
Sure.
So
yeah, we had shifts. We whatchamacallit? We had two one daughter and her fiance came down, and then my sister showed up, then my son showed up. My father didn't come down because he wasn't feeling well. Then my daughter and her fiance left, and my other daughter and her fiance showed up, and it was just a whole thing. It's a whole daughter and fiance thing, right? But it was shifts, and there was no more than 6 people here at any one time. 5-6 people here at any one time. But it went from 11 in the morning till 11 at night. So
yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, that was the one thing we missed is we usually, when Don and I first got married, we lived in Nassau County, and we lived one town over from her sister Anna and her husband Andy, whose house we moved, and then they moved, so everybody's around here, and that's the house we always go to.
Sure.
So we used to go to their house for Thanksgiving, and then since we lived closest and everyone else lived in East Northport and Huntington, they all left, and we would hang out, Donna and I. This is pre-children, and then it would be midnight, and then it was time for turkey sandwiches.
Sure.
Because it was no longer Thanksgiving. And so we kind of miss that, because we only live 5 minutes down the street now. So we always hang out a little bit longer than everybody else. So we kind of missed that aspect of it. But
I hear you.
It was a good trade-off for the quietness.
Fair enough.
And we didn't have to watch the NBA or Chinese TV for my father-in-law when there's really exciting NFL action going on.
Well, fair enough on that one. Harry, yours?
I did not watch Chinese NBA.
No? Damn.
Yeah. I hurt my back the day before, so I was kind of icing my back, and I made a lasagna.
There you go.
Nice.
As did I.
Now, what do you put? Do you use tofu?
No,
You just make a vegetarian lasagna.
right.
Just a bit.
This one was just vegetarian. I have made it with cashew ricotta before, and but yeah, this time I used some cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
sure.
used almond milk with the green bean casserole this time.
There you go.
Which it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fair.
it is.
My my lasagna had I made 270 little meatballs for my lasagnas.
Yeah,
Meatball doesn't go in lasagna. That's
Well, it's
I'm gonna throw a red flag on that one.
I'll give you 3 guesses why I put 270 little meatballs in a lasagna.
270 meatballs.
Not that number, but a lot of little meatballs.
because you didn't have 271.
Okay.
Because you like it?
No. I follow somebody else's recipe.
Oh, your mom's recipe?
There you go.
Oh, and you put
I mean,
meatballs in the.
Gotta use sausage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
yeah.
can
Little
put some
meatball.
of-
Little meatballs are fine, I guess.
Yeah, little
You put
meatballs.
some of
There's
both.
not. I put big meatballs in. I make like little
Well,
like marble
I
sized
know-
meatballs. So.
I know that.
Yeah, so.
That's yeah.
You've had my mother's meatloaf, so
Little meatballs.
little meatballs. So I mean, you had it.
It's either a meatball or it's a rat turd.
You had it a
It's the
long
name-
time ago, but
The name of John's biography.
All right.
Little meatballs.
all right. Now that we just
Meatballs.
little
All
meatballs.
right.
That's
See you
it.
next week when we discuss
All
what
right,
we
thanks,
had.
folks.
We
We'll be
just-
doing a Christmas feast preview.
We
John's
just lost
egg-
3 guests. So
Eggnog recipe with 273 mini eggs.
no.
You know-
It's 270 great gains. 270 grains of cinnamon go in it. That's
Okay.
When I'll just a little behind the scenes for you
per ounce.
for you audience members.
Mhm.
We usually get together for 5 minutes before we start the show and we talk about what we want to talk about. And we
Oh,
always
yeah.
say the same thing. Let's not go down any rabbit holes.
We just did. All right, let's get out of it and start.
The entire opening of the show, every single week, is rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
So,
All right,
maybe
rabbit
we got it out of the way now.
rabbit hole extraction. Here we go. All right. Well, you're talking about football. And Pete is saying sports suck. So let me just jump right into my sucking thing. My biggest pet peeve right now. Anybody that watched the Philly Buffalo game on Sunday, look, it's no secret that these NFL refs suck. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, if you will, of conspiracy theories and the NFL's rigging who they want. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Who the hell knows? But if they're not, they really, really suck, these refs. Okay. There have been horseshit calls left and right all season so far, worse than normal. But Sunday, that Philly Buffalo game, that one play where, and to be quite honest with you, look, I don't care if Philly wins. The Giants aren't going anywhere. And whatever. If Buffalo wins, the Jets aren't going anywhere. And the game was, it really didn't matter all that much to me who won the game. But
Well, one of them was going to win.
one of them was, you would think, well, they could have tied. It's a regular game. But in any event, and it almost could have too, because it went to overtime. But in any event, Josh Allen had the ball, and whoever the hell it was it whoever was the linebacker or whatever, going to sack him, and he gave him a horse collar. He had he was pulling the front of his shirt, and he put his right hand up in the shoulder pads of the back of his jersey and spun him around and slammed him to the ground. As he does that, Josh Allen throws the ball within 5 feet of Gabe Davis. Okay. So there was a player in the area. All right. They don't call the horse collar, and they throw 15-yard, or they throw the intentional grounding call on Josh Allen. When it wasn't intentional grounding, he actually threw it he was within the vicinity of Gabe Davis. What the hell was that? And then not even 5 minutes later, the Buffalo has the ball back again, and they're driving, and Josh Allen throws a ball to Stephon Diggs, a ball that he could have caught, and I think it was Darius Slay, just mugged him, just literally mugged him. And they show the scene, like the camera is back behind the ref, and the ref turned his head away from the play so he didn't have to see him mugging him, and then there was no flag. What is going on?
Shouldn't be wearing his Rolex on the field.
What is right? I know that's the problem, really. But what is going on with these refs? I mean, I don't want to believe that there's any rigging going on. I don't want to believe that there's any favoritism or that they're Philly fans or that they look the other way here and they look the other way there and throw excessive flags here for something that they shouldn't. Or, I really don't. And all the shit with the Chiefs back in the beginning of the season, what that was going on with them, with the Jet game and everything else, and the week later with the in the Minnesota game. I don't want to believe that. But if that's not happening, how horrible is this ref crew, like globally across the league? Please,
you know how you make them better?
Fire them all and get other people.
Get rid of all these stupid fucking rules. Let them play.
Let them play. Okay, ticky tack stuff. Yeah, I can see what you're at that. But
look, the NFL, they've done all what's ruining the NFL is that you can't play defense anymore, and yet there's teams that can't score 5 points.
Yeah, they've done all these things to pump up the offense, and yet you have multiple teams that just have no offense whatsoever. They've done all these things, Harry just said, to make defense impossible, nearly impossible. Or if you breathe on the quarterback wrong, it's they've done all these things to protect the quarterbacks. And yet you have all these teams that can't score. You've got 4 out of the 6 divisions that have no more than 2 teams with winning records.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Half the teams in every division, except for a couple in the AFC, have losing records. This is a horrendous NFL season. What they've done, all the rules changes they've made, and no accountability for these refs. Now, I don't know whether there's any funny business going on or not. It's hard for me to believe if there is, it's wholesale. But there are certain storylines that the NFL would like to have. Now, I don't know if it rises to the level, I should say, of paying off a ref or
if anything, the NFL would want Buffalo to actually win. So
but it's a better story, maybe, that they're not good anymore, right? It's hard for me to believe they're paying them off. But if you don't have any accountability as a referee,
look, there's always been bad calls. There's bad calls. I've also watched games where there has not been one bad call, where they just, I watch it's really depending on who the refs are, what game it is, and how invested you are. Here's one thing you could change if you want to make football better. Okay, every ref should play offensive line for 3 plays in a live game before they're allowed to be a ref. Okay. Number 2, you should not allow defensive ends to be any more than 3 yards off the line of scrimmage away from an offensive tackle. And number 2, you should let offensive linemen do anything but hold somebody around the neck. These little, you got somebody spinning and coming at you at 100 miles an hour while you're backpedaling. And just because your arm went around the outside of them as they were spinning around you, as you block them to protect your quarterback, you're getting called for a holding penalty. Cut the fucking crap. Cut the crap. That's the main reason why there's not as much offense on these bad teams, is because the defensive linemen are no longer defensive linemen. They're edge rushers who are way faster than they've ever been before in the history of the game. And the offensive linemen can do nothing to stop them because they can't. They physically can't. We still have 330 pound, 6'5" offensive linemen who I could beat in a 40-yard dash, going up against guys who are literally faster than most Major League Baseball players at a ripped 245 pounds, coming at you with more moves than John Travolta in the 70s. And we wonder why there's so many quarterbacks hurt. That's the reason.
And defensive edge rushers with a running start.
Right.
Even if it's 2 steps, that's enough.
The defensive line can move all over the fucking place, but God forbid an offensive lineman moves or sets his fat ass for a second. That's the problem, and it drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely nuts. I watch these poor offensive linemen, and I'm just like, how are these offensive coordinators not keeping somebody in with their left tackles? I've watched Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen to ever play the game, struggle against not even the best defensive ends this past week. So if that's the case, then yes, we're not going to have good NFL football because 50% of the quarterbacks right now do not deserve to be playing in the NFL, let alone starting in the NFL because of injuries and not enough talent. There's too many teams, and the talent pool is for the first time in many, many years is diluted. And that's why there's 5 great teams and a bunch of teams that really suck, but are being masqueraded as mediocre and in the hunt for the playoffs. I saw the Giants in a ticker. In the hunt. In the hunt for what?
Mm-hmm. In the hunt for a playoff spot that they're going to be one and done. That's what they're in the hunt.
They wouldn't be in the hunt if they hadn't expanded the playoffs.
Right.
And even the good quarterbacks, I don't care who you are, if you have 3/4 of a second to throw the ball, you're not going to be that effective. No. I don't care who it is.
No, but the difference between 2.5 and 3 seconds is huge. And the ability for quarterbacks to be able to read the game is huge, which is why there's a big difference between guys that we think are going to be successful in the NFL versus guys who actually are, because it's a completely different game. Yeah. Because the speed of action is so fast now.
And at the same time that's been increasing, there's been, I don't know if I can say more than ever, but I mean, the days of a quarterback getting drafted, at least with a high pick, and having some time to learn, not being thrown to the wolves right away.
Oh, every single one of them gets thrown to the wolves.
That's forget it. Because nobody who really gets to do that. If you're anywhere in the top 10 or 12 or 15 picks in the NFL draft,
that's not necessarily true. Let's look at what it is. What it is because the talent pool is so low, and because
injuries and between desperate teams, these guys are all starting.
Well, my point is this: the teams that are sucking to begin with don't have a quarterback worth anything, and there's a lot of journeymen around, and there's a lot of people that obviously if they had a quarterback that they wanted to keep in there, they wouldn't have the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick overall. They might be in the top 10, like 8, 9, 10, maybe 12, 14, somewhere in there, but they're not going to be in the first 2, 3, 4 spots to get those high drafted quarterbacks. So all of those high drafted quarterbacks that are coming in, of course they're going to start right away because the team. Hey, we drafted him with the number 1 pick. He's starting game 1 is when he starts.
But that didn't used to happen.
It didn't used to happen because there was more talent out there. Because even the shittier teams had at least a serviceable quarterback that the guy could sit behind. Even go back to Eli Manning.
But my point is, it's not.
He had 9
easier.
games before he had to go in.
Right, but it's not any easier for those guys, those high draft picks coming in now. It's harder. Because defenses are bigger and stronger and faster. So you're now asking them to do something that was really difficult before, right? The guys who came in and started right away 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they were few and far between. It was a rare talent, and they had to have a good situation. At least a line that could protect.
20 years ago, it was none.
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
But those occasions, as the time has gone on, we've gotten defenses. The job of doing that has gotten tougher, and now there's more guys being thrown to the wolves. Everybody's being thrown to the wolves, and you're right because there's no other talent. We need somebody. We drafted you, and these guys don't work out. And then this will lead me to one thing I want to talk about the NFL is then you have an idiot like what's his name from Carolina, who's proving me right as they're the worst. David Tepper, their owner, who fires Frank Reich less than a season in because Bryce Young isn't great. So and then
Bryce Young didn't light it up like C.J. Stroud is lighting it up.
Right, Bryce Young was
and Carolina could have had C.J. Stroud, but they picked Bryce Young. So he made that a bad decision on that.
Now those are the rumors that right.
So we gotta have a scapegoat. Let's fire Frank Reich.
Right. He overruled his coach, and now he's gonna fire him.
Right.
And say, okay, thanks. And this is the guy that hired Matt Rule, who was terrible. David Tepper is the worst owner in football.
And if you remember, he hired Matt
Rule.
Rule.
Worse than Irsay. He's worse than Jerry because he never wins anything.
If you remember, he hired Matt Rule away from the Giants too. The Giants were all but signing him. He went to the interview, and David Tepper wouldn't let him leave the building without signing. Just threw him whatever he needed.
Sucked for 2 seasons and 5 games or whatever, and then he was fired.
Mhm.
And now Rice does, but you don't even give the guy a year. You don't even give Frank Reich a year,
Mhm.
and then say, "Hey, it's not working out." Just
Yeah.
fire him midseason.
Yeah.
Because your number 1 draft pick, which was your guy, and look, doesn't mean that Bryce Young is never going to be good,
Sure.
but he's just not coming in to be good right away on a terrible team
Right.
that's had its share.
But that's just the thing. It's not just it's not just I was gonna say Brees Hall. Bryce Young's it's not just Bryce Young's it's Bryce Young, Brees Hall event. It's not just Bryce Young's playing ability right now in his rookie season. It's the entire team around him.
Yeah, they're terrible.
You know, they're just bad. You know, they're just a bad
It's
team.
also the league has so much parity that if you're a quarterback and you're around enough, there's going to be moments where people think you're okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Hobbs, whatever the fuck his name is, he was the hero.
Had a great game, and
Josh Bradford Dobbs
had a great game when he couldn't practice or nobody knew what he was doing, but couldn't score or get a first down against the Bears.
Yeah, well, look at his record before that game, and look at his record after that game, and you see the story of what he is. You know,
he started 11 games in the NFL this year, and he's 2-9.
Yeah.
So
so the NFL sucks.
It does.
I don't think it sucks. Here's what I do think about it is that I think that for the first time in many years, I can't right now tell you I'm confident that this is the best team in the AFC and this is the best team in the NFC. Now, what the flip side of that is I could tell you I'm confident that these are the top 3 teams in the NFC or 2 teams in the NFC, and these are the top 3 teams in the AFC. But
I give you the top 3 in both, yeah.
Right. But for instance, we have a team that's playing at home this week that is 10-1, who's an underdog to a team that's 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
So
because of how the 10-1 team's been playing and how the 8-3 team of late has been playing.
John, I looked at that and it's the 8-3 team lost 3 games to teams that they should have no reason losing to.
Look at what they've done.
The 10-1 team has beaten a lot of good teams. Now, did they beat them convincingly by 35, 40 points? No, but they won.
Right.
So
I
don't
as great as they've been in the past few years, that's a detraction against them. Now, look at the flip side of that. If you look at a team in Pittsburgh,
right,
who before this past week was outgained by every single yards, outgained by every single opponent they played. But they won. They're winning games.
Yeah.
So they look at that way, but they don't.
Teams that are winning with shitty offenses and really bad, like Kenny Pickett. Granted, I'm not going to close the book on him, but to Pete's point earlier, he does not deserve to be playing in the NFL right now. He's clearly somebody who was not ready to start on an NFL team. And look, he's not playing for a bad coach, and he's not necessarily playing for a horrific offense.
Right.
Okay. He's not ready. I watch him and it's clear to me that he's not an NFL quarterback.
The only thing I would say, and I don't mean this as a challenge, is like, what numbers can you look at that you say this is not a horrific offense? They're
meaning what they did last year.
Yeah.
Well, look at what they did this year. They're like last in the close to the bottom of the barrel.
And what's the biggest change?
Yeah. I mean, they don't score any points, but yeah. I mean, see that's the thing. Like this, I guess you could say, all right, if you like uncertainty, not necessarily as you said about the who the top 2 or 3 teams in each conference are, but uncertainty about everybody else. Then this is the year for you, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Miami's atop the AFC East. Are they really for real at 8-3? I don't know. They've lost to some good teams. They've beaten up on a bunch of lousy teams. The Bills are 6-6. Baltimore is good. The Steelers, are they really any good? Is Jacksonville really good at 8-3?
Baltimore is good, but 4 weeks ago, when they blew that game, and what was it, Cleveland, with the backup quarterback, they were saying, "Oh, this team is right back to where they were, and they don't know how to win big games." Jacksonville was the best team in the NFL until they fucking sucked it up against, So
that's what I'm saying. What can you say about any of these teams?
By
There's
the way,
a lot of uncertainty.
The Colts are 6-5.
Look at the Lions. They're 8-3, and every week they're either one of the top teams or they lose. I go, oh, no, I guess they're not for real.
Yeah,
they're for real, then they're not for real.
Well, look. Here's the thing, and specifically speaking of Lions, because I'm giving them a little love for whatever because of the Thanksgiving game and everything else. That's why I'm wearing it. But in any event, and plus it's Barry Sanders, so please. But in any event,
that's a different story.
That's a different story. But in any event, every good team lays an egg from time to time, or has the possibility to lay. I'm just saying. My point is they're going to be like, are the 49ers good? Now I'm not comparing the Lions to the 49ers, but just follow me here. Are the 49ers good? Did they shit the bed 3 times in 3 games in a row this season before?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
They sure did.
So, but the Lions, we expect, we're surprised that they're good. So when they lose, oh, that's right.
No. Hold on. No. I'm going to hold on. Let's go to the replay. Beginning of the year, everybody was on the Lions bandwagon. Rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. But they haven't beaten anybody, and they play in quite possibly one of the worst divisions in football.
Now, used to be a good division, right?
Yeah. But again, they are
every division at some point or another was a good division.
If you win, that's all that matters, and they are playing more like the second half of last year than they did play the first half of last year.
They played one team with the winning record since week 1. All right, they beat the Chiefs. Rah rah rah. Great. Okay. They have not beaten a team with the winning record since then, and they've lost to the Ravens, and then lost. No, the Packers didn't even have a winning team.
Keep in mind. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you, but keep in mind that the majority of the entire league doesn't have a winning record. It's kind of difficult to beat a team with a winning record.
Hold on.
You can only play the team that's
I'm going to go through their schedule. Okay, I'm going to go through their schedule, and here's the same criticism that you can make of the Dolphins. It's the same criticism you can make of a lot of teams. Okay, they beat the Chiefs. Great win, beginning of the year. Great, awesome. They lost to the Seahawks. Okay,
and that was the Travis Kelce-less Chiefs. Right, and the defensive lineman,
and whoever. This was before Taylor Swift was calling plays for him.
Right.
So they lost to the Seahawks. They beat the Falcons, which quite possibly at that time was right there with Carolina as one of the worst teams. They beat the Packers, who in the beginning of the season were horrible. They beat the Panthers. We just talked about them. They beat the Buccaneers. Okay. They're a good team. Look at them. They're really doing well. Now they're going to play Baltimore, and they lose 38-6. They bounce back against a fucking useless as tits on a boar Raiders team, and then they win a squeaker against the Chargers, who can't seem to win any game against a team that's equal to or better than what they should be. They beat the Bears, and then they lose to the Packers. So I'm sorry. The Lions, they've won games that they should win, but their strength of schedule has to be the weakest in all of football. Oh, by the way, they get to play the Saints, the Bears, the Broncos, the Vikings, okay, until they get to the Cowboys. They get to play the Vikings two more times without a quarterback. So there you go.
And without their number 1 backup quarterback.
Right.
So, Yeah, they're going to be a lot of these teams could end up just being huge disappointments come playoff time if they get in,
unless they play each other.
And
if the Dolphins play the Jaguars, and that's going to be a good game because one of them has to win. If the Dallas Cowboys play the Detroit Lions, well, one of them has to beat a team with the winning record.
Yeah. And listen, as far as referees and bad calls, I cannot get away from the idea that Vegas, i.e. gambling, has a hand in this as well. Because now all the sports leagues are in bed with the betting sites and the betting apps. And
everybody's betting. Everybody's betting.
Right. So that means, Look, Vegas doesn't like to lose.
Right.
So that's why there's a hook. That's why there's a line. That's why there are sucker bets.
And here's to John's point earlier. What bugs the shit out of me is that when they do miss something and somebody challenges it, and then they don't overturn it. It's like they're watching the Zapruder film and they can't figure out that there's no possible way that what they're watching justifies their summary of the play.
Yeah.
Right.
So that drives me more nuts than anything else. We have all of this apparatus and rule changes to allow them to change things, and they don't. Having said that, I think it was the Broncos game this week where I think it was a tight end for the Broncos caught a touchdown pass, and they called it out of bounds. Now, you watch the replay, and it wasn't really all that conclusive except until one angle clearly showed that his ass was in bounds, caught the ball, and then slid out of bounds. Okay, so by definition of the rules, it should have been a touchdown. Okay, now the announcers even said that's going to be tough to overturn, but they overturned it. So occasionally they get it right. But it seems like more often than not, they don't. Now, I'm not watching every game. So there could have been 12 plays in the Cleveland game this week that I have no idea about that they either got right or wrong. So
I got you. It's just annoying. My problem, my biggest problem is accountability, right? If there's something so blatant that they see and don't throw a flag, or that they, like what happened with the flag that they shouldn't have thrown, they threw the flag that they didn't, the flag they should throw, they didn't throw. Whatever, any of that shit. There's no fining, there's no warnings, no write up, no accountability.
They're working the next week.
They're working next week. We're good. We can get everything fucking wrong, and we're working.
You know what? Look, to play devil's advocate, it's not an easy job, and these guys, while they're not getting paid, they're not making that much money.
Well, here's
they have to pay their own travel expense.
No, I do understand that, but my biggest thing, and I've said this before on the show, and then we'll wrap it up, because again we went down that proverbial rabbit hole here, but that's fine. I'll wrap it up after this.
We're done with football then.
That's fine. But my biggest thing, and I've said it before on the show. Let everything be reviewable. Don't say, well, that's not reviewable, but this is reviewable. Who gives a shit? Let everything be reviewable, but leave the amount of challenges that you have as they are. No matter what, even with things that are reviewable right now, a coach cannot challenge more than 3 plays, and 3 only if he gets the first 2 right. He has 2 challenges. If he gets both of them right, he gets a 3rd. But he doesn't get a 4th. There's only 3. That's it. Other than booth reviews in the last 2 minutes of both halves. Right? He only gets the 3. So if he's already used his 3, then he doesn't challenge anymore. But let everything be reviewable. Why isn't it? Why aren't pass interference penalties or roughing the quarterback penalties or anything? Why aren't any of these penalties, these erroneous flags, why can't they be challenged? Yeah, you can't challenge me. I'm a ref, and my decision is the end of no.
No. Well, that makes no sense because some things are refs' decisions and they are challengeable or reviewable. Anything that's reviewable at the end of the game should be challengeable during the game, which isn't, to the best of my knowledge, isn't always the case. Mm-hmm. And the things that are not reviewable, why?
Exactly. Why is that play not reviewable?
Right. And the other thing is, what does baseball do now?
I don't know.
The same thing. You can challenge
still baseball.
Right. No, but who makes the decision?
The manager.
A guy in New York.
Yeah.
They don't show the film to the guy that made the call, and then expect
him
to
you still have bench. You still have bench challenges. Yeah.
Right. So why don't we do that in football? Why don't we have a third party looking at these things that get challenged and making a ruling, rather than the guy who's going to look, going to look like an ass and going to have to swallow his pride and say, "Yeah, I fucked up."
Here's I agree with you because I think that most of the time the people, the remote folks, much like us watching it at home, have quicker and better access to the angles that you need to see in order to say, "Hey, it's pretty obvious there."
Yeah.
What I would say is that they should have the people at the home office, let's call it, provide the evidence to the referees and say, hey, here's what we're saying, make your call.
Right. Yeah, here's what we think, and here's why we think that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, we're never, unless Roger calls us up and says, "Hey, what do you guys think? Come on board and we can figure this thing out." Nobody's going to listen to us. So
I would be happy to give up my Sunday and my Monday and my Thursday to sit
And occasional Friday.
An occasional Friday and any other day for that matter. Saturday when we get into the playoffs
Mhm.
to have
End of the
16
season
television screens and be deciding whether the ref fucked up or not. I'll be happy to do that.
Let's be honest. You would do it the same way you make your decisions here on the show. You wouldn't even look at it.
Well, and
it depends on who's playing. Depends on who's playing.
It would depend on the player involved.
That's what I meant. I don't mean team. I mean player. It depends on who's playing.
Who caught it? Incomplete.
Fuck him.
Yeah, I might give somebody from the Patriots the benefit of the doubt, but I mean they're not a threat anymore. So, but certain players, no. Speaking of the Patriots, 2 losing seasons in a row. Oh,
Belichick's getting some heat. Some people are speaking out against Belichick and saying, throwing back at him what was that the only reason Brady won was because of Belichick. Well, now the opposite is being tossed around.
Yeah,
I think it's unfair, but I also think that maybe, just maybe, it seems as if once Bill Belichick had complete control of this team, personnel-wise and otherwise, that started to signal. Now, granted, it was coincidentally at the same time that Brady left, but it doesn't seem like his decision-making has been all that stellar.
No.
He hasn't given himself the best team on the field, that's for sure.
No, he hasn't put the players in the best position to win.
But
that, kind of begs the question, like, how many other coaches might have been much better than they were if they had Tom Brady, let's say?
Well, Bill Walsh was a genius, but he also had Joe Montana and I guess Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
So,
Bill Walsh didn't have Steve Young.
Yeah, well, he had him, but he was a backup.
Right. George Seifert had Steve Young. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's not.
Bill Walsh had George Seifert. Let's be honest.
I think those two guys needed each other, but
right.
I still think it was more Brady than Belichick.
Bill Walsh and Tom Brady.
Well, let me ask you guys this: between Belichick and Harbaugh from Michigan, who do you think between those two guys, who's more likely to get the Carolina job?
Well, Belichick doesn't want the Carolina job, and I don't think Harbaugh's going anywhere. So I'm going to say neither of them are more likely. It's going to be some coordinator that we've never heard of is going to get that Carolina job.
Yeah, they're talking about the guy from the Chargers and maybe
the it's going to be one of it's going to be one of those guys because they don't want anybody with a really strong personality.
Kellen Moore, the kid that was on Dallas last year.
That's more the Tepper way, which is
right.
Yeah, choose somebody that won't work out.
But
Tupperware.
To flip your question around, if I was starting a team, would I pick Bill Belichick or, was it Jim Harbaugh from Michigan?
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
I'd pick my answer would be his brother,
John. Harbaugh.
I think is it John Harbaugh from the Ravens?
Yeah, John.
You know what? I hate the Ravens, but I have to give it up to John Harbaugh. He's a hell of a coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hell of a coach. And Jim Harbaugh has proven to be a pretty decent coach as well. So I think at this time in their careers, I think I'd lean towards one of the Harbaughs over Belichick. And look, I'm the biggest Belichick supporter there is. I still think he's the best coach, since Vince Lombardi to coach in the NFL. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's done a lot. But he's arguably had the greatest offensive and greatest defensive player on his sides during his coaching days. So do it that way.
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
I have a defense coordinator with Lawrence Taylor and a head coach.
Was it Belichick who made the undraftable middle of nowhere wide receivers that they got into superstars, or was it Tom Brady? Yeah. And I think based on recent evidence presented to the court, I'm going to say I think it leans more towards Brady.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Did you see what Alex Smith said about the other day?
Yeah, Alex Smith's an asshole.
Did you see that, Pete?
Yeah, it's just not true. Fuck Alex Smith. You look, LeBron James played in a weak division in basketball. You know, it's he still won this fucking Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So Alex Smith doesn't know what he's talking about. Alex Smith is again, a backup quarterback. All these backup quarterbacks who are so-called experts on talk shows are third-rate NBA players who average 0.5 points a game, who are such experts on the NBA. I'm sick of it.
Well, in all fairness to Alex Smith, he was actually a starting quarterback.
In San
Francisco, in Kansas City, and in Washington.
The only thing that makes Alex Smith worth somewhat reasonable is that I get to watch Dan Orlovsky every day. So yeah, come on.
Anyway, but I mean, look. I don't agree with what he said, why he was said. I don't agree with why he was saying what he said, but I do agree with what he said.
Yeah, and the reason why he's
historically worst division,
right? Yeah, what he said.
That's not a lie. It
was not untrue.
But that doesn't mean the Patriots wouldn't have been worse if they were in the.
He draws from that about Brady's success,
are
not true.
No,
I don't think it's as much of a causal relationship as he makes it out to be.
Correct.
Jalen Hurts is playing in, with the exception of the Dallas Cowboys, which do we really count them? Jalen Hurts is playing in fucking horrific NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to hold that against him? When Dallas was winning all their Super Bowls, NFC East wasn't all that great. Are we
By the way, I just
Troy Aikman
on that. To your point on that, 3 years ago, right now, the Giants were in first place in the NFC East with a 4-7 record.
Right.
All right.
That was great.
Thank you for backing up my statement for the fact.
That was a great season.
That was wonderful.
And the Giants are in the hunt.
They're in the hunt. Yeah, they're in the hunt.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep a good DeVito.
Hey, Tommy Cutlets will take care of things.
Hey.
All right. Can we talk a little college football?
Yeah, I want to actually. I do want to just really.
Oh, no, you had something else.
I on this one thing, specifically on Tommy DeVito. I just want to say this right now, and these are just stats, so I'm not alluding to anything by saying
John's cherry-picked stats of the week.
Tommy DeVito is has the second highest passer rating among rookie quarterbacks right now, 92.4. CJ Stroud's the only one higher than him at 100.8.
Right.
He was rookie of the week last week. He was player of the game this past week. Daniel Jones, so far this season, his stats are a 1-5 record, 2 touchdowns passed for, and 6 interceptions. Tyrod Taylor won a record of 1-2 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Tommy DeVito, a record of 2-1 with 7 passing touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And he has 1 rushing touchdown too.
And in his defense, he played an entire game where his first game, I think he had 1 completion, and the Giants' total passing yards was -9.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Tommy DeVito is like the kid in kindergarten who gets more than halfway through the alphabet on the first day. He's off to a great start.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that.
But if you want to know about the Giants, Tommy DeVito was the Giants' 3rd choice in who their quarterback was this year.
Correct.
Or 4th choice. 3rd or 4th?
3rd.
Yeah.
3rd.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, and the other NFL thing I have to say, and I can't believe I didn't think of this myself. I just heard it today. In the Jets game, I said to myself, the Jets are so pathetic, they can't even fail at a Hail Mary correctly.
No.
Right.
They can't even fail throwing a Hail Mary correctly.
And they failed pretty well. They failed in a new way.
They did, but they can't even fail at something that's difficult correctly.
Right.
They blew it. And then I didn't think of it. I can't believe I didn't think of it. I heard it today. Fail Mary.
Fail Mary.
The Jets, you got butt fumble and you got fail Mary.
Fail Mary. There you go.
So two wonderful phrases to.
There you go. And both of them Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah.
Really quick on Tommy DeVito. I just found this out today. Tommy DeVito turned down a contract with the Commanders, which was going to give him significantly more money than he was about to make with the Giants. And the Patriots came calling with a spot on their practice squad too, but DeVito didn't take either of them because he wanted to stay home and he wanted a chance at being a Giant.
He knew they were better things.
He didn't want to pay rent.
He wanted mom's cutlets.
He didn't want to pay rent
with a big water bed in it.
Rent and a washer and dryer are expensive.
Wagoneer, yeah. On Friday nights, he gets to take out Dad's car.
Is he 21 or is he like 33?
He's 25 actually.
Yeah, okay.
He's 25.
Good for him.
So, anyway, all right.
By the way, to the Giants, if you think Tommy DeVito is the answer in lieu of Bo Nix, if you have the opportunity to pick Bo Nix and you don't, I'm going to find you. Find you.
This is a significantly historically great college football season.
I think I texted it to you guys. Tommy DeVito is the new Jeremy Lin, right?
Right.
I mean, it reminds me of the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Linsanity. So what is it? DeVito.
Cutlet.
He got to the letter O in the alphabet on day one of kindergarten.
Yeah, or I don't know. He actually struggled with the A, B, and C, but once he got to D, E, and F, he did all right.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah.
Good.
Anyway. All right. College football. 4 unbeatens left. This has been an exciting season. Are you guys surprised Ohio State drops to 6?
No.
With 1 loss behind Oregon, or no?
No, because they lost pretty convincingly, and they've also had a schedule where they've been playing some teams that they shouldn't be playing. So that's.
But they were number 1.
I know.
Oh no, they were number 2.
Well,
number 2. So
look, they're right behind Oregon. I think that the thought process there is you couldn't penalize Oregon for they've lost to the number 3 team. So they're right there. I think you could flip those two either way. I think on any given day, those two teams it's a coin flip as who's better. The biggest thing for me, look, I'm an Oregon fan. They should not have lost that game to Washington. However, they play Washington again this week in the Pac-12 title game.
Yep. And
they're favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By like 9 points.
Yeah.
Is this a trap? Are they just is Vegas trying to? I don't understand
Vegas, baby.
I don't understand that. Like Washington is 12-0. They haven't looked fantastic, but they've looked good. They're undefeated. They've already beaten this team. Somebody explain that to me. I saw that spread and I had to start looking like, are they not playing? Is there something I don't understand where this game doesn't mean anything and Washington's going to sit their starters? I don't understand this spread. I think it's a trap. Now, having said that, if Oregon win, let's just play a game here. If Oregon wins, which team gets those final 4 spots?
Well, that's the thing. Let's look at each of the 4 unbeatens and see.
Right.
If Washington loses,
right,
and Oregon wins
again. Not all of these teams are playing this week, by the way.
Right. But I think Washington's out if that happens.
Yeah, I think they are too.
You're right.
Because they barely got
Washington's in if they win, they're out if they lose.
I think one of those 2 teams gets in. That's it.
Yeah, because they barely got past. Who did they play? Washington State.
Right. Yeah.
Who did Washington play?
Yeah.
They won by 3.
They almost lost. They only won. They won on a last-second field goal.
Right, on a last-second. I think it was overtime, wasn't it?
Maybe
overtime. And Oregon beat the shit out of Oregon State, who was ranked 16 at the time.
Okay. Now, of those top teams, okay, here are the big games that I think. Here's what could make it interesting. Okay, Oregon plays Washington, so you have a number 5 team playing a number 3 team in that championship game. Okay. Of the other top, let's call it 6 teams. Okay, the other big game is Georgia playing Alabama on Saturday.
Mhm.
So let me throw this out at you. Alabama wins that game. They're both 12-1.
They might go.
Do both of them go?
Depends on what happens with Washington.
Well,
I
here's
think
the
I
thing.
think if Alabama wins, if Alabama beats Georgia,
Let's say Alabama and
then
Oregon wins.
right? Then Washington's out, Oregon's out, Georgia and Alabama go with Michigan and Florida.
You think Oregon's out? Interesting.
Hmm.
All right. You might be right.
Well,
Most people are, and look, here the only thing that could help clarify things is if Florida State loses to Louisville, which they could.
They could. I doubt they will.
But if they don't, then you have an undefeated Florida State team, potentially a 12-1 Georgia team, a 12-0 Michigan team, which of course Michigan's automatically in,
right?
And a 12-1 Alabama and a 12-1 Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
And some people are saying that if that happens, Florida State might be the odd man out.
Yeah.
Because of who they play.
Here's why one of the reasons that I say sports suck. Because if that happens, because here's the thing about college football and their playoffs. It's because of the system. I mean, it's impossible to say who are really the most deserving teams.
Right.
And if you don't have 4 unbeatens, I mean, 4 unbeatens at least makes it kind of easy. They're all unbeaten. They all played guys. So those 4 go, right? If they all win.
Then you could have that.
Right. You could do that.
Right.
But
you could have Georgia, Michigan,
right,
Washington, and Florida State.
Quarterback. But Florida State lost their quarterback.
But still,
they are less. Right.
They would be unbeaten.
They are less likely to put up a good show in the playoffs.
Right.
And so you may have powers that be, the bowl gang of 5 or however many people it is who make these decisions. They could go 13-0 and still be out because they're going to say, yeah, they're not. We can't have another blowout like we had last year. So Florida State's out because they don't have their starting QB. And that would really be a shame, I think, because I'm a little bit, honestly, I'm a little bit surprised they're still. I thought they would be 5 this week, even though they won. They didn't win convincingly against a rather game Florida team. I thought they might drop to 5 this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people saying they could go undefeated and not get in.
The game was close for a while. It did actually win pretty convincingly. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what worries me now. Now, again, we really don't have to worry about this after this year.
No, because did you see what this year's playoff would, if they use next year's playoff system this year? Did you, based on today's current standings?
Yeah, all the one-loss teams would be
great.
In.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
But again, next year, why do you go to 12? Now you have to have buys, and now you're going to have all these right. Now
they're overshooting.
Well,
maybe it just could have been 8.
Should have been 8, right? But you could say what we're talking about now, who deserves to go in? What if they win? What if they win and they get out? That's the allure of college football.
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you
why they're going to 12.
Because you'll still get that conversation.
Right. You'll still get that conversation, but they didn't want to leave any of the bowl games, these historically important bowl games, out of the mix. And 12 allows them to not cut the second tier bowl games, get to call themselves that bowl game in the first round. In the second and third rounds, you get the semifinal being the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl or whatever, and then you get the championship.
But they're already cut out now.
I know, but that's my point. Is that they want to get them back. They want people watching the Rose Bowl, even though they don't care that it's the Rose Bowl. They care that it's the semifinal in the football championship.
Right. It makes sense
because they
I mean. There's only 2 bowl games that really, right?
None of them matter now. none of them really matter now, and that's the point. Is that they don't
except for the semis. The semis are the only one, which is the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think even
Rose
the champion,
Bowl,
the Rose Bowl and the
Salad Bowl,
Rose Bowl and the Bowl-o-matic. Yeah.
Is the championship game even a bowl game, or is it just the championship game? It's not, right?
Game. No.
All right, so here, let me hang on because I got it right here.
So, anyway,
So, let's see.
While Pete's looking that up, my point being is that I don't think sports sucks. I historically, you know me, John, I don't like college football.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching more college football this year
than NFL
than I have NFL because I think this crop of talent in college football right now is going to help the NFL in the next 10 years dramatically.
Let's hope.
I hope so.
Yeah, let's hope. That's for sure. That would be wonderful.
You know why part of it is you have older players who have played 2, 3, some 4 years, and that portal and being able to change teams has really helped revitalize a lot of players, careers and brought them to the forefront.
Yep.
So all right. So last year it was the Peach Bowl, was Georgia, Ohio State, and the Fiesta Bowl was TCU and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to the championship. This year, I think it's the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl are the two semifinals.
It's going to be
all those other bowl games mean nothing.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. That was good. It's good.
So if you had to pick who you think the 4 are going to be, give me them.
Well, let's actually.
Quickly.
I think that's all. Maybe we can go to Are They For Real?
Okay.
We can.
And then I can ask that question.
Okay. There you go.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah. Why don't we do it right now? Because I
didn't get the show notes before.
No. Well, we have a tendency to cover everything that is going to be discussed in Are They For Real? I have.
We should just start with that. It's the best song.
Then we can just say goodnight. Let's now did I send you the short version?
How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real.
For real. Yeah.
Are you for real? For real? For real? For real?
Are they for real?
What is real?
All right. Are they for real? Since we're talking about college football, as we just were, let's talk about who's the most for real to reach the old CFP. And we're going to look at the top 8 teams and give me a yes or a no. This is to get into the Final Four. All right. And we'll start with Alabama. Yay or nay?
Maybe.
I'm going to say
you got to predict here.
If I had to tell you right now, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say nay. If it has to be, if I have to give you an answer right now, it's no.
John, what do you think?
No.
I'm Harry?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think they're going to beat Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's look at 11-1 Texas, the current number 7.
No.
I agree. Ohio State.
No.
Number 6. They were number 2. Who were they playing?
No one.
Did
they play this week? Maybe they do. Hold on. I don't think they do.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Michigan plays, but Ohio State doesn't.
Right.
All right.
So, that's a no.
So Ohio State's a no. All right. So here's the top 5. Oregon at 11-1.
Yes.
If they beat Washington, yes.
No, yeah, that's assumed.
Well, you have to say, do you think that's going to happen, or Harry thinks that's going to happen, so he says yes.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Oh,
Um,
I don't
Well, that's
know.
why
for
we're calling it a
100%
prediction.
either.
no. I don't. I
I'm
don't
not
mean it
asking
like
you guys
that.
what you know. I'm asking you what you think is going to
That's not what I
happen.
mean.
Separate-
I don't.
Wait.
He's hold on.
That
He's
statement, I don't know, has never stopped you
more-
from making a decision before.
This is true. But I don't. All right, how about this? I don't have as much confidence in them winning that other game against Washington than Harry does.
So that's a no.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes. I think they are going to beat Washington.
Yeah.
So they're the first ones in.
Okay.
All right, Florida State.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe they don't deserve to be, but they'll be there.
I think they're getting booted.
You might be right.
All right, Washington. They're going to lose
No.
to Oregon, says Harry, so they'll be out.
I say yes.
John says whatever. I don't know.
That's not.
I
I
said
say
Oregon
yes
was.
until Saturday.
I said Oregon was going to win, so I think they're out.
Friday.
So
They're
that
gonna be
leaves Michigan. Yeah,
Michigan's
they're
in.
gonna be in.
Yes.
Michigan's in, and Georgia.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so Georgia, Michigan, we agree on.
Florida, we agree on. No, Florida, Harry and I agree on.
Yeah,
Harry,
the only,
you've got,
the only
you've
ones
got
we agree
Oregon
on
and
are
Florida State.
I've got Oregon, Florida State, Michigan, and Georgia. You have Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and Ohio State, I think. John has Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and Washington.
Right.
So John has them as they're stacked right now.
As they are now.
John has the undefeateds going. All right,
Mhm.
fair enough. All right, let's turn very quickly to the NBA because we know and love the NBA. Oh, whatever. Here's another reason why sports sucks: the stupid NBA tournament, in-season
We don't have
tournament.
enough time for me to talk about that. I've got
I know.
I've got 45 minutes on the fucking court paint.
I know. Where you can lose a game but still get in because of point differentials,
Mhm.
like a fucking soccer tournament. Like
I had a
soccer league.
seizure the other day watching the Wizards game. I
Jesus.
couldn't tell what the fuck was going on the goddamn court.
All right, here we go. Quarterfinals: the Lakers versus the Suns, Kings against the Pelicans. In the East, it's the Bucks against the Knicks, and the Pacers against the Celtics. So, give me your ranking amongst these four teams: Lakers, Kings, Pelicans, and Knicks.
Lakers, Kings, Pelicans, and Knicks.
Kings, Knicks, Pelicans, Lakers.
Lakers, yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Kings, Knicks, Lakers,
Kings,
Pelicans, Lakers.
Knicks, Pelicans, Lakers.
I would concur. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. I would
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I might go Kings, Pelicans, Knicks, Lakers.
Fair enough.
So do we think the Knicks are getting into the championship?
No.
No. Okay. Bucks are going to the championship from the East, or the Celtics.
Or the
concur.
Celtics.
Or the Celtics, yeah.
I think right
And-
now, I think the Celtics. Although the Bucks look pretty damn good the other night. They're starting to gel a little bit, but the Celtics play better defense.
So maybe Celtics and the Kings in the championship.
I think the Celtics and the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves are playing good ball.
They're not in it.
They're not in it. I thought they were in it. Oh no, you're right. They're out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did they get the
Celtics,
wild card? I thought they got the wild card, no?
Celtics, and who cares?
Celtics and who cares? That's about all right. Yeah, that'll do it.
I think it'll be Celtics and the Suns. Actually, believe it or not.
Okay. The Suns are just
Get
going
it,
to be better.
get it over with.
CP's gone, so
Get it over
CP
with.
is
That's
gone,
why
so
two
the
weeks
Suns
in
are now the favorites to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get it over with.
What I mean,
Oklahoma City's not in it either, are they?
2 weeks it'll be
The
done.
Nuggets are out. The Timberwolves are out. Oklahoma
Yeah.
City's out. Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, these are. I mean, the Bucks, yeah, and the Celtics, but
Philly's out. The best teams in the NBA are out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, the Lakers are number 7, right?
Yeah, they're horrible.
The Kings are where are the Kings?
You know what? The Pelicans might be the team. They might sneak in there.
The Kings are 6. The Pelicans are 9.
I mean, it really depends if what happens in the Washington-Oregon game. I'm going to wait until that game's over to tell you who I think's going in the
Suns
NBA.
are 3. So
the Washington Oregon game has a lot riding on the
Sure.
NBA tournament. So.
It certainly does.
So it's 3, 7, 8, and 9 from the West. And in the East, it's 1, 2, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
So weird how the West ended up that way.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares? Speaking of the NBA, remember a guy named Monty Williams?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, he left. I think it was where? Sacramento, or not Sacramento?
He coached the Suns.
Golden State. Yeah. No, the Suns, and went to the Pistons and signed a $78.5 million deal over 6 years. Monty Hustle, no question.
Good for him.
Pistons are like 2-15 this season. They're on pace to win 10 games. So he's on pace to make $7.8 million per win.
You got to trust the process.
They're terrible.
The Pistons have been rebuilding since Bill Laimbeer retired.
They're the worst team.
Actually, they won. Did they win 1 or 2 with Chauncey, with the team full of no stars? Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups. They only won 1, didn't they?
They won.
Yeah.
Rip Hamilton.
Ugh. 2-15. Terrible. They're fighting with the Wizards for the worst teams in the league.
There you go.
And the Spurs. I know you got Wembanyama and you got Pop, but only 3 wins for them too. So
There you go. All right.
oof.
And there you have it.
I guess that's about it for the NBA, right? We don't really have to talk about anything else there.
Are we done with
We're done.
You have any more Are They For Reals?
Yep. No, that's it for Are They For Real?
So we just went into NBA
I
talk.
thought you were
Are They For
going
Real
to
music
include
playing.
Dolly Parton on
Oh,
this.
yeah. No. Sorry. I was just enjoying the trailing music.
Well, that works. All right. Quick baseball note. The Mets just today, not too long ago, an hour ago or so, signed another starting pitcher to a 1-year, $13 million deal.
Bartolo Colon.
Nope.
Sammy Gray.
Nope.
Sonny Gray.
Nope. Sammy Baugh. Harry, you want to take a guess?
Phil Niekro.
Did a veteran pitcher, obviously.
Veteran to a point, you could say.
Was he in the NL or AL last year?
AL last year.
AL last year. I'm going to say.
This is the Batman.
No.
I don't know. Who would the Mets go out and sign? The Mets are usually pretty good on paper signing pitchers. It's not the guy from Oakland, is it?
No.
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
Is
it? It's an ex-Yankee, right?
It is.
So they did. I read it. I heard rumors of this. So they went out and signed Luis Severino.
Luis Severino. They signed Luis Severino to a 1-year, $13 million deal today, just an hour or so ago. Yeah.
I think that's a good move.
It won't be good with them though.
Well,
at times Severino, if you get him in the right part of his season, he could be a top 20 pitcher in baseball.
Well, here's the other thing too. If depending on who they sign around him, if he's back in the rotation, I don't mind it. If he's got to be the number 2, no.
He's a 4 or 5, 3 or 4 on a good day.
Is he hurt all the time though?
I was kind of sad to see him go. Yeah, he's coming up. He's coming up a couple injury-led seasons, but he's been healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
All
right,
Cortez, that's for sure.
Okay, and I will.
Lester was hurt last year too.
And speaking of pitchers and Yankees and Mets, obviously everybody and their mother's going after Yamamoto, right?
Yeah.
Where he's going to come in, he's going to start interviewing after the winter meetings and everything else. But apparently, or allegedly, as the story goes, the Yankees intentionally did not give out the number 18 last season because they were regularly scouting Yamamoto over in Japan.
You know what
Anyway.
I've read is that the favorites for him are the Dodgers and the Mets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to wind up in L.A. or
I've
New
also
York.
heard he wants to play with other Japanese players.
And he played with Kodai Senga before. So
He might like to play with Ohtani too.
it depends. Is Ohtani going
Now
to Dodgers?
rumblings he might stay in.
I mean, the Yankees have Kyle Higashioka. At least they did. You know. Is he Japanese still?
Higashioka? Yeah, he's
He's
Japanese.
Japanese American.
right. So, but well, we'll see. Anyway, cool. All right. You want to do beaten by the coin?
Yeah, sure.
We should probably do that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we have to make picks.
Yeah, we do. All right. Let's do just that.
By the coin.
I'm sure I'll lose.
I think I sent you last week's results.
I haven't.
Okay, cool.
Let me just do a summary.
I'll put them up here.
Yeah, just throw them up on the screen. Because we had a little bit of a changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
I love this
Harry
spreadsheet.
Lug
It reminds me of like
in front now at 47, taking a 1 point lead over John.
This is such a 1986 spreadsheet.
It's called Excel. It's the world standard.
Excel
And
3.
yours truly, actually, the coin ended up, I think, with just 2 points or something like that. So I surpassed the coin, but I lost some ground on you guys. So now
The coin's not on here. How many points does the coin have?
I think the coin has 38.
Okay.
37. Coin has 37. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, and Harry jumps a point ahead of me because we picked the same teams, but I unfortunately put the Broncos at 1 point, and he did it with 2 points. So
Yeah, thanks, Texans.
what was that about?
The Texans screw me every week, and speaking of that, they'll probably do it again this week.
One way or another. Just from now on, yeah, we'll pick the Texans, but let Harry go first. Whatever he picks, I'm picking opposite. You don't have to ask me. Just mark the opposite down.
I'm not going. Well, Pete already made his pick. So.
He did.
Yeah. All right. So we have. I have the coins picks too, so I can tell you what those are.
There you go.
So first up, we have Atlanta visiting the New York Jets, and we're assuming what's his name, Boyle, is going to get the start again.
Danny Boyle.
Maybe give him the first half. Maybe give Zach Wilson the second half. It doesn't really matter.
Does it though? Really? Yeah.
It really doesn't. The Jets are terrible. Their defense is good. I wouldn't say the Falcons are exactly on the come right now, but they have looked better. You could say this is a toss-up. Yours truly. I am not betting on the Jets for the rest of the season, so I'm taking the Falcons. And that is my 3-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The coin is taking the Falcons, and that is the coin's 2-point game.
All right. I'm with you there, Pete. I'm taking the Falcons, and that's my 3-point game.
We got that across the board.
There we go.
I thought at least somebody would take the Jets.
Thought the coin would.
Normally you would say, they probably win this one, right? They'll bounce back and kind of win this one. They'll win it like 9-6 or something. But no, they can't score on anyone. And the Falcons defense is not terrible. I mean, they have improved as the season has gone on.
Who knows? They played New Orleans and Tampa Bay.
They're not great, but they're better.
Carolina.
All right, next up, them streaking Broncos visiting the Houston Texans, who, despite having Mr. C.J. Stroud as a wonderful rookie quarterback, are reeling a little bit. And this might be the point where the Texans, being good, so to speak, or at least being as unexpectedly good, starts to fall apart, and they could spiral down the rest of the season. Although I don't think that's going to happen. But Johnny, we'll let you pick this one first. Oh no, how about Harry? Why don't you pick yours? Pick this one first.
I'm going to go with the Broncos. It's my 1-point game.
I say I'm shocked you're going to go with the Broncos.
Broncos for a 1-point game.
All right.
I will also take the Broncos. It's going to be my 2-point game. John?
Yeah, Broncos. I want to pick the Texans because, Harry's betting against them and they keep screwing Harry. So, but no, I got to take the Broncos here. Broncos are on a mission right now. They seem to be playing really well.
But you could go 2. You could go 2 points.
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going Broncos 2.
Broncos 2. Coin likes the Texans for 3 in this one.
Really?
Yikes.
Could be the Coins' big comeback week.
Could be.
Maybe. Listen, I'm only 4 points ahead of them.
It's true.
And then last but not least, we've got San Francisco visiting them Eagles.
The game of the week.
And John, we'll let you pick this one first.
San Francisco 1 point.
Right? That's because that's all that's left. Harry?
I'm going with the Dirty Birds, and I'm going to take that as my 2-point game.
That's a 2 points. All right.
Always
I'm going to
sunny
go.
in Philly.
I agree with John. I think the 49ers are rolling, and I think Eagles might be a better team, but this might be one of those games when they don't play as well as they're capable of, and the 49ers might be able to capitalize. So taking San Francisco on 1 point. The coin is taking the Eagles also for 1 point.
The Eagles beat Kansas City, right? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe. Anyway, okay.
Eagles have 1 loss. They only lost to the Jets. That's it.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could be wrong. I had to pick based on want. I actually like the 49ers better, but I don't understand that all of a sudden this pessimism towards the Eagles. I just don't get it. But anyway.
Well, here's the thing, though. With that, and I understand what you're saying, but with that idea, the Eagles are just
going
to
for them to lose. Yeah.
I'm just saying the Eagles with that frame of mind and that idea, the Eagles are just going to win the Super Bowl. They're going undefeated the rest of the season.
No, I don't think that's the case because there's a team in Kansas City that I think are the Eagles of the West. But yeah, okay, and they just
look, the Eagles have not played well at times this season. Now that doesn't mean they're.
But they're 10-1, and they've beaten Kansas City, Buffalo.
I understand, but there are games that they have not won the way they should. So that is part of it. That's number one. For me, it's more about it's really hard to only have 1 loss. I don't care how good you are. It's tough to have 1 loss. And San Francisco is a good team. So I don't know who else Philly has to play, but I don't know if there's anybody they have to play who's better than San Francisco.
That's true.
So of those remaining games, this is one they're more likely to lose.
Although, did you see Philly's new uniforms for this weekend?
No.
Do they have Danny DeVito on it?
Yeah, right there.
God.
Well,
I love John. He's always the refs, always with the fucking refs. It's either loose balls
Well,
or
they are.
if there's one city who, trust me, any major league does not have it in for, it's Philadelphia. It's just not true.
We'll see.
And
all right, so San Francisco is going to be the one that might swing things.
Yep, exactly.
We all unless the Texans win, in which case, the coin may get back in front of me. But so we'll see how it goes. I think I'm pretty much out of it. It's going to be hard to come back.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's not like you're in the upper 20s.
One good week and one bad week.
I had a couple of good weeks, and I think I was down by like 8, and then I got it back to like 4, and now it's back to 5 and 6 again. So
I've been consistently winning 2 out of 3 games every week.
Yeah,
and then that's the key to this. And not have one of those 2 wins be your 1-pointer.
Right.
That's right. Well, it's still close. It is still anybody's game. So
yeah, without a doubt.
Important.
It's not. Yeah, I don't think you're out of it at all. I don't think anybody's out of it. Even the coin.
I think the coin's still in it too. Yeah.
Coin could be within 2 if things go the way. The coin's pretty good.
That's true. All right, so that's beaten by the coin.
There you have it. All right.
I think that's about it, right?
I do. I think that's about it. So anything else?
Oh, yeah, okay. Only one other thing.
One other thing. Go for it.
Remember, who's that kid? Connor Bedard?
Yes.
Number 1 draft taken by the, whatchamacallit, Blackhawks. And I said, is he going to be more Connor McDavid or is he going to be more Patrick Kane? Legendary.
Right.
Chicago Blackhawks. Well, Patrick Kane, who I guess had hip not replacement, but serious hip injury and came back. And I think he played a little bit with the Rangers last year. Well, he's back in the league.
Back in the
That's
league.
fine. Yeah.
With the Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I guess, I don't know, maybe he was a Red Wings fan growing up or whatever, but why wouldn't you come back and play with Bedard on the Blackhawks there?
That
They
actually
didn't want
they didn't want him, yeah, obviously.
No, they didn't. I guess, or if they didn't, they wanted him, they didn't want him as much as the Red Wings did. Which I mean, look, he's 35, coming off a major injury, but 15 years with Chicago and 2 or 3 Stanley Cups? 3 Stanley Cups, I think, right? A couple MVPs. I mean, he's the man.
Right.
Hey, look, even Patrick Ewing ended his career in the Seattle Supersonics. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
it's the way it goes.
And then he came back to the Garden, and it took about 4 minutes for the Garden crowd to be chanting his name. We'll see if Patrick Kane gets that sort of reception.
I think he will.
Going back.
He did last year when he went back. He played a couple
Yeah,
games.
I mean,
Yeah.
you would have to think that they will certainly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe
he's one of those guys, even the Chicago.
maybe they were
fans.
like, we did that last year. Now you're the fucking enemy
Right. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're with Detroit.
Or just less enthusiastic. Yeah.
Maybe,
not
yeah,
you're
probably.
the enemy, but
Yeah, probably. I mean, we love you, but we're gonna throw shit at you.
you're done.
Yeah, but you're we love you, but you're dead to us.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Never mind.
Exactly.
I love it. All
Never
right.
mind.
There you go.
Exactly.
It's just not worth it.
It's not-
Wow. Off the air, I really want to know what the fucking
gonna-
line was where Pete said. "Yeah,
I want.
I might talk about it next week.
Done.
yeah, save it. Save it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's savable. So that's so I can
Fair
talk
enough.
about
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
it's
about it next.
Not
Definitely.
quite yet for real.
it.
Not quite yet for really.
No, not quite.
All right.
All right.
All righty. On that note, we will wrap things up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And of course, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, and Twitch every Wednesday night around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Rephonic, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, an audio podcast, you can find the Get On With It Sports Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Watch all the Week 13 action in the in the NFL. Watch the NHL as well, too. And NBA, the tournament and everything else. We'll see you next week with the fun show, guys. Take care. Cheers.
Do we know if our show has showed up next to any white supremacist ads on X Twitter yet?
I don't think so, no.
I hope not.
just-
Why would it?
There's a lot of stuff that pops up.
It's
Let me clarify that statement, folks. We don't want that.
no.
No.
we don't.
That's why I'm saying. Does anybody know if that's happened yet? Because I know that's happening.
Probably a question.
People just saw that
off
clip with some guy, some white guy sitting in the dark.
Yeah.
Probably a question to ask off the air. No, there's none. We're in our own little sports
good way to
hole
end
on
the
X,
show.
and that's
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
No, that's what I wanted to hear. I just didn't.
Find us on the Insurrectionist channel.
I'm just saying. We're not on 4chan, right?
No, we're not. Not at all. Anyway, all right.
All right.
See you, Tux. Take care.